The harsh ring of Marcus's phone cut through the darkness like a gunshot. He jolted awake, brain still foggy as he fumbled across the nightstand, knocking over a glass of water. The screen blazed bright. 217 a.m., unknown number. The empty space beside him seemed to mock him. Rebecca should have been home hours ago from her weekly book club. She'd left at 7 wearing a blouse he'd never seen before, expensive perfume trailing behind her. "Hello?" His voice emerged, rough with sleep. "Is this Marcus Reed?" The voice was professionally detached. Speaking, Marcus sat up, instantly alert. "Officer Daniels with Metro Police. Sir, I'm calling about your wife, Rebecca Reed. There's been an incident." Marcus's grip tightened on the phone. "What kind of incident? Is she hurt?" "She's been found in a compromising situation at the Westlake Motel. Emergency services have transported her to Memorial Hospital. You should come immediately." The Westlake Motel? That was across town, nowhere near her supposed book club. What was she doing there? "I can't provide more details over the phone. The emergency room staff will brief you when you arrive. I'll be there in 15 minutes. Marcus ended the call. He flipped on the lamp and threw on clothes, his lawyer's mind already cataloging inconsistencies from the past months. Rebecca's phone always face down. The way she angled her laptop away when he entered. Those urgent work emails that always seemed to arrive during dinner. The fitness studio membership she insisted on despite having one closer to home. The drive to Memorial Hospital was a blur. Marcus ran a red light, barely registering it. The emergency room's fluorescent glare assaulted his eyes as he pushed through the sliding doors. "Rebecca Reed," he told the nurse at reception. "Police called about her." Recognition and something like pity crossed the nurse's face. "Yes, Mr. Reed. Dr. Merritt will be out shortly." Marcus paced the waiting room, shoes squeaking against the waxed floor. When the doors to the treatment area swung open, he advanced on the doctor immediately. "Where's my wife?" Dr. Merritt gestured toward a private corner. "Your wife is in surgery. We're removing a foreign object that's become lodged internally. It's a delicate procedure, but she's stable." For an object? Marcus's mouth went dry. Dr. Merritt shifted uncomfortably. "I can't provide more specific details right now." A police officer approached them, younger than Marcus had expected from the phone call, with a face that seemed too boyish for his serious demeanor. "Mr. Reed." Officer Daniels extended his hand. "If I could speak with you privately." Marcus followed him to a small alcove. "Your wife was found in room 203 at the Westlake Motel. Security footage recorded a male subject leaving in a hurry shortly before the 911 call." "Who?" Marcus demanded. "Subject approximately 62, athletic build. We're working on enhancing the footage." Officer Daniels paused. The room showed clear signs of closeness. Marcus's vision tunneled for a moment. "I want to see her." "Sir, she's in surgery." Dr. Merritt protested, but Marcus was already pushing through the operating room doors. The surgical wings stretched before him. Through the window in the third door, he could see medical personnel clustered around a table. In the center lay Rebecca, unconscious. Before anyone could stop him, Marcus pushed into the operating room. The surgeon was holding something unmistakably a toy, massive and grotesque, as a nurse tried to block Marcus's view. "Sir, you cannot be in here." The chief surgeon rushed to intervene. "Mr. Reed, please. We need to maintain a sterile environment." Marcus allowed himself to be let out, his mind crystallizing into cold, hard rage. As dawn broke over the city, he made a silent vow. Rebecca would pay for her betrayal, and whoever her lover was, he would destroy him completely. 3 hours later, Marcus sat in Rebecca's hospital room, watching her regain consciousness. Her eyelids fluttered open, confusion giving way to recognition, and then naked fear when she saw his expression. "Marcus." Her voice was barely audible. "What happened?" That's what I'd like to know. His voice was arctic. Why don't you tell me about your evening at book club? Rebecca's fingers clutched at the hospital blanket. Everything's fuzzy. Room 203. Westlake Motel. Marcus leaned forward. Remember now? The color drained from Rebecca's face. A tear slid down her cheek. Marcus, please. Who is he? The questions sliced through the air. His name is Connor, she finally whispered, each word seeming to physically pain her. Connor Alvarez. I met him at Elite Fitness Studio 3 months ago. 3 months of lying to my face. Marcus's voice was deadly quiet. 3 months of betrayal. It wasn't supposed to happen, Rebecca said desperately. He was my personal trainer. We talk after sessions. He made me feel, spare me the romance novel. Marcus cut her off. I want details, now. Connor trains the advanced clients. Rebecca wiped at her tears. Marcus, what happened last night? He pushed me to try things. When it went wrong, he just left me there, alone. I could have died. And yet, here you are. Marcus stood abruptly. I'm going to find your phone. What? Why? Panic replaced grief in Rebecca's voice. Because I want evidence for my lawyer, Marcus said coldly. In the hallway, he cornered Officer Daniels. I need my wife's phone. It's evidence of her affair with Connor Alvarez. He's a trainer at Elite Fitness. Daniels raised an eyebrow. She identified him? Yes, and I want to see every message between them. The phone is currently evidence in our investigation, Daniels explained. An investigation into what? A game gone wrong? Marcus's voice cut like a blade. Or are you charging him with abandonment? Daniel studied him before nodding. Follow me. In a small evidence room, Daniels retrieved a clear plastic bag containing Rebecca's belongings, including her cracked screen phone. The passcode, Marcus demanded. 0412. Rebecca's voice came from the doorway. She stood there clutching an IV pole, her hospital gown making her look small and fragile. It's our anniversary. The bitter irony made Marcus's jaw clench as he entered the numbers. The screen unlocked to a messaging app opened to CA. What he found confirmed his worst suspicions. Months of messages, each one a fresh betrayal. Miss you already. Thursday's book club can't come soon enough. Last night was amazing. I've never felt so alive. Your husband's working late again. Perfect. Come over. Photos followed. Rebecca in lingerie he'd never seen. Intimate pictures clearly meant for Connor. But worst were the messages mocking him, laughing at his ignorance. Marcus is clueless. All he cares about is his cases. He actually believed I was at a client dinner. Some attorney he is. Marcus's hands shook with rage as he methodically took screenshots, sending them to his own phone while Rebecca watched, sobbing. I'm taking this to my lawyer, he told Officer Daniels, his voice tight with controlled fury. We'll need the phone as evidence, but I'll ensure you get copies of anything relevant to your proceedings. Marcus nodded curtly and called his law partner. David, it's Marcus. I need divorce papers drawn up immediately. Infidelity clause, full documentation. I have ironclad proof of a 3-month affair. Divorce? Rebecca stumbled forward. Marcus, please, we can fix this. I'll do anything. Don't throw away 10 years of marriage. I didn't throw it away. Marcus turned to face her. You did with every lie, every secret meeting, every time you chose him over me. It wasn't like that. Rebecca reached for his arm, but he recoiled. But what Connor and I had, it wasn't real. You're my husband. I love you. Love? Marcus spat the word. Is that what you call deceiving me? laughing with him about how oblivious I am. Rebecca collapsed to her knees, the IV line tangling. "I'm sorry. Please, Marcus, give me another chance." A nurse rushed forward to help her. "She needs to rest." "Fine." Marcus straightened his jacket. "All communication goes through my lawyer from now on." He turned to Officer Daniels. "I want a full investigation into Connor Alvarez. When my wife is stable, get her complete statement about what happened last night. We'll conduct a thorough investigation." Daniels assured him, "Good. Send all documentation to David Harrington at Reed and Harrington Law." Marcus paused at the doorway, not looking back at Rebecca. "This marriage is over." The sound of her collapse behind him, nurses rushing to help. None of it made him turn back. The woman he loved was already gone, replaced by a stranger who had betrayed him completely. In the elevator's polished metal walls, his reflection stared back. A man forever changed. Trust replaced by an icy determination for revenge. Marcus didn't go home. Instead, he drove directly to Elite Fitness Studio, arriving just as it opened at 6 a.m. The morning crowd was thin, a few dedicated early risers in expensive athleisure wear. He approached the reception desk where a perky blonde was arranging schedule cards. "I need to speak with Connor Alvarez." She checked the computer. "Connor has a client at 6:30. You can wait in the lounge if I'm not a client." Marcus cut her off. "Where is he?" The receptionist's smile faltered. "Sir, I can't just—" Marcus leaned forward, voice dangerously soft. "My name is Marcus Reed. My wife is Rebecca Reed. I believe you know her." Recognition dawned on the receptionist's face. "Oh, Mrs. Reed. Yes, she's one of Connor's regulars." She hesitated. "He's in the trainer's room down that hallway, last door on the left." Marcus moved with deliberate slowness down the hallway, passing glass-walled studios where early classes were setting up. The trainer's room door was partially open. Inside, a tall, muscular man in branded athletic wear was filling a protein shake. Connor Alvarez lived up to the personal trainer stereotype in every way. Sculpted physique, carefully groomed stubble, artificial tan. He looked up as Marcus pushed the door fully open, his expression neutral until he registered the cold fury in Marcus's eyes. "Can I help you?" Connor asked, instantly wary. "You're Connor Alvarez," Marcus stated, closing the door behind him. Connor sat down his protein shake. "That's right. And you are Marcus Reed, Rebecca's husband." The color drained from Connor's face. He took an involuntary step back. "Look, man, I don't know what you think. Save it." Marcus advanced slowly. "Rebecca is in the hospital. You left her alone, bleeding at the Westlake Motel last night." Connor's eyes darted to the door, calculating his escape route. "That was an accident. She wanted to try something new and it went wrong. I panicked." "You panicked?" Marcus repeated, his voice deadly calm. "So you abandoned an injured woman who could have died?" "I called 911 before I left," Connor protested anonymously. "I made sure help was coming." "How thoughtful." Marcus's smile never reached his eyes. "The police are very interested in speaking with you. Look, whatever happened between Rebecca and me was consensual." Connor raised his hands defensively. "I never forced her to do anything." "I've read your messages," Marcus continued as if Connor hadn't spoken. "All those clever jokes about deceiving me. All those plans for your little rendezvous." Connor's face hardened. "She came to me willingly. Maybe if you'd paid more attention to your wife instead of your cases." Marcus moved with shocking speed for a man in a business suit. The punch caught Connor squarely in the solar plexus, doubling him over. As Connor gasped for breath, Marcus grabbed him by the throat, slamming him against the wall. "I could kill you right now," Marcus whispered, pressing his forearm into Connor's windpipe. "I've defended enough murderers to know exactly how to make it look like self-defense." Connor's eyes bulged, his face weening as he clawed at Marcus's arm. But that would be too quick, Marcus continued, easing the pressure just enough to let Connor draw a ragged breath. I want you to suffer. I want you to lose everything just like I have. He released Connor, who collapsed to the floor, coughing violently. The police will be here soon. Marcus straightened his cuffs. I've already filed charges for reckless endangerment and abandonment. By tonight, your face will be all over the news. The trainer who left his lover to die after a game gone wrong. You can't prove anything, Connor rasped, still on his knees. Marcus laughed coldly. I'm one of the top criminal attorneys in this city. I have Rebecca's statement, security footage from the motel, and your text messages discussing your plans for last night. He leaned down. You're finished in this town. No gym will hire you. No woman will trust you. Your life as you know it is over. Connor lunged upward, swinging wildly. Marcus sidestepped easily, the boxer's reflexes from his college days still sharp. He caught Connor's arm and twisted it behind his back, forcing him face first onto the floor. That's assault, Marcus informed him conversationally, his knee pressed into Connor's spine. Now we can add that to the charges. The door burst open. Officer Daniels stood there with two uniformed officers, taking in the scene with professional detachment. Connor Alvarez? Daniels asked, though it was clearly a formality. This is him. Marcus released Connor and stepped back, adjusting his tie. He just assaulted me. Mr. Alvarez, you're under arrest in connection with the incident at Westlake Motel last night, Daniels recited, nodding to the unformed officers who roughly hauled Connor to his feet. You have the right to remain silent. As they cuffed Connor, Marcus caught his eye. This is just the beginning, he said softly, for Connor's ears only. By the time I'm done with you, you'll wish you'd never met Rebecca. Connor's face contorted with rage and fear as the officers dragged him out through the main gym floor, past shocked clients and staff. The walk of shame was exactly what Marcus had wanted. Public humiliation, the first installment of his revenge. Marcus followed at a distance, savoring the spectacle. As they pushed Connor into the back of a patrol car, several onlookers were already recording with their phones. By noon, Connor's arrest would be trending locally. By evening, the story would break nationally. The perfect tabloid fodder. Officer Daniels approached him as the patrol car pulled away. That was quite convenient, us arriving just as he assaulted you. Fortunate timing, Marcus agreed smoothly. Uh-huh. Daniels didn't look convinced. Mr. Reed, I understand your anger, but I should warn you against taking matters into your own hands. I would never. Marcus's expression was a picture of innocence. I'm an officer of the court. I respect the legal process. He checked his watch. Speaking of which, I have a meeting with my divorce attorney. As Marcus walked to his car, his phone buzzed with a news alert. A local crime blog had already picked up the story. Fitness trainer arrested after bed nearly kills married client. The machinery of destruction was in motion. Connor's reputation would be shredded before he even made bail. And Rebecca. Her humiliation was only beginning. 2 weeks later, Marcus sat in David Harrington's office reviewing the divorce strategy. The morning sun streamed through the windows, highlighting the grim satisfaction on both men's faces. The preliminary hearing went better than we could have hoped, David reported, adjusting his glasses. Judge Kowalski was visibly disgusted by the evidence. The infidelity clause in your prenup is holding firm. Break it down for me, Marcus said, leaning forward. The house is yours. All financial accounts remain in your control. Both vehicles stay with you. David tapped each point with his pen. Rebecca gets only what she brought into the marriage. Her personal effects, pre-marriage savings, and her Volvo. What about her claim to the firm? Denied completely. The judge was particularly unsympathetic given the circumstances. David shuffled through more papers. She's responsible for all medical bills related to the incident, approximately $75,000. The judge cited her reckless behavior as justification. Marcus nodded, expression carefully neutral, and Connor Alvarez charged with reckless endangerment, criminal negligence, and assault. Looking at 3-5 years, David allowed himself a small smile. The DA is pushing hard after 2 other women came forward with similar stories. Other women? Marcus raised an eyebrow. Apparently, our Meister Alvarez made a habit of seducing his clients, pushing boundaries, then abandoning them when things went wrong. David pulled out a news clipping. Elite Fitness is facing multiple lawsuits. They've terminated his employment and are doing major damage control. A knock interrupted them. David's assistant entered with a thick envelope. The final divorce decree just arrived, she announced. And Mr. Red, Detective Torres is here about the Alvarez case. Detective Richard Torres, who had replaced Officer Daniels as lead investigator, entered looking grim. Mr. Reed, Mr. Harrington, thought you'd want to know. Alvarez accepted a plea deal this morning. Terms, 5 years. Eligible for parole after 3 mandatory counseling and registration as an offender. Torres handed over some paperwork. After the 3rd victim came forward, his attorney advised him to take the deal. The 3rd? Marcus asked sharply. Torres nodded. College student. Not even one of his clients met her at a bar. Same pattern of behavior. She's been too afraid to come forward until now. Marcus absorbed this jaw working silently, and Rebecca's testimony crucial to the plea deal. She provided detailed accounts of how Alvarez gradually escalated their encounters, pressured her into more extreme acts, then abandoned her. Did she mention how willing she was? Marcus's voice hardened, how she laughed with him about deceiving me. Mr. Reed, Torres's tone was carefully neutral. Your ex-wife was manipulated by a predator. She was a willing participant. Marcus cut him off. Don't paint her as an innocent victim. Torres simply nodded. The DA's office will send formal documentation for your records. After he left, Marcus stared at the divorce decree, its official seal gleaming mockingly. Rebecca's lawyer called this morning, David said carefully. She's in dire financial straits. Not my concern. The medical bills alone are over $75,000. Then there's her legal fees, lost wages from being fired. David spread his hands. She's facing bankruptcy. Good, Marcus said coldly. She's desperate. Her lawyer says she might try contacting you directly. She already has. Marcus pulled out his phone, displaying dozens of missed calls and unread messages. Letters to my office, emails, voicemails. I've blocked her on everything. The intercom buzzed. Mr. Harrington, Miss Reed is here. She's quite insistent about seeing Mr. Reed. Marcus's expression darkened. Tell her. The door burst open and Rebecca rushed in. She looked nothing like the polished fitness enthusiast from weeks ago. Her designer clothes had been replaced by worn jeans and a simple blouse. Dark circles shadowed her eyes, and her carefully maintained highlights had grown out. Marcus, please, she began, voice breaking. I know I have no right to be here, but you're right. You don't. Marcus stood, buttoning his suit jacket. David, call security. Wait. Rebecca moved further into the room. I've lost everything. Elite fired me. No one will hire me after what happened. I can't even make rent. And how is that my problem? Marcus's voice could have frozen fire. Did you consider consequences when you were sneaking around with Alvarez? When you were laughing with him about deceiving me? I was wrong. Rebecca's eyes filled with tears. So terribly wrong. But 10 years of marriage has to mean something. It meant everything to me. Marcus cut her off until I found out it was all a lie. Not all of it, Rebecca pleaded. What we had was real. I just got lost. Connor was... Don't say his name. Marcus slammed his hand on the desk, making Rebecca flinch violently. Don't try to explain or justify what you did. I'm not justifying it. Rebecca's voice rose desperately. I'm trying to apologize. Apologize? Marcus laughed bitterly. For what part? Betraying every vow we made? Making a fool of me? Throwing away our marriage for a personal trainer with a history of predatory behavior? I was unhappy, Rebecca whispered. You were always working, always at the office. Connor seemed to see me when you didn't. Saw you so well, he left you bleeding in a motel room. Marcus's voice dripped contempt. Is that the great understanding you're talking about? Rebecca's face crumpled. He's going to prison. Isn't that punishment enough? Do you have to destroy me too? I didn't destroy you, Rebecca. You destroyed yourself. Marcus moved toward the door, pausing only when Rebecca called out one last time. I still love you, she whispered. Marcus froze, then turned slowly. For a moment, something flickered in his eyes. Pain, perhaps, or a ghost of the love they once shared. But it died quickly, replaced by cold resolve. Love doesn't lie, Rebecca. Love doesn't betray. What you feel isn't love, it's desperation. He nodded to the security guards who had finally arrived. Remove her from the building. As the guards gently but firmly escorted Rebecca out, her broken sobs echoed down the hallway. Marcus watched him passively, feeling nothing but a grim satisfaction that justice, his version of it, had been served. That evening, Marcus visited Connor Alvarez at the county detention center. The fitness trainer looked markedly different after 2 weeks in custody. The artificial tan had faded, his carefully styled hair was limp, and his athletic frame had already begun to soften from inactivity. They sat across from each other at a metal table in the visitation room, separated by reinforced glass. Connor picked up the phone reluctantly. Come to gloat? His voice was rough, defeated. I came to make sure you understand something, Marcus replied calmly. 5 years is the beginning of your punishment, not the end. Connor's expression hardened. Haven't you done enough? My career is over. My reputation is destroyed. I'll be a registered offender for life. You left my wife to die, Marcus said simply. You manipulated her, used her, then abandoned her when things went wrong. She came to me willingly, Connor insisted. Rebecca wanted excitement, adventure, things you weren't giving her. And now you'll both pay the price for that excitement. Marcus leaned forward. I've ensured that every prisoner in your cell block knows exactly why you're there. What you did to those women, how you left them when they needed help. Connor's face palled. You can't do that, that's already done. Marcus cut him off. I have many clients in this facility, some quite influential. He smiled thinly. Prison is a dangerous place for men who hurt women, Connor. You're threatening me. Connor's voice shook slightly. I could report this. Report what? A conversation? Marcus chuckled coldly. Who would believe you over me? I'm a respected attorney. You're a disgraced trainer with a pattern of predatory behavior. Connor slumped in his chair, the full weight of his situation finally settling on him. What do you want from me? I want you to suffer, Marcus said simply. Every day for the next 5 years, I want you to wake up knowing your life is over because of the choices you made, the women you hurt, the lives you destroyed. He stood up, including mine. Rebecca sent me a letter, Connor said suddenly. She said you've left her with nothing, that she's living in her car. Is that true? Consequences, Connor. Marcus replied evenly. You both made choices. Now you both face the consequences. She doesn't deserve that. Connor leaned forward urgently. I pursued her. I manipulated her. She was vulnerable because you were never there. Save the excuses for your parole hearing. Marcus cut him off coldly. They won't help you there either. As Marcus turned to leave, Connor called after him. She really did love you. You know, even while she was with me, she talked about you constantly. Marcus paused, his back still turned. Then she should have remembered that before destroying everything we had. He walked out without looking back. Connor's desperate calls following him down the corridor. Outside in the parking lot, Marcus sat in his car for a long moment, finally allowing himself to feel the full weight of what had happened, what he had done. His phone buzzed with a text from an unfamiliar number. Marcus, it's Rebecca. I'm staying at the Western Shelter downtown. Please, I have nowhere else to go. Can we talk? Just once. Marcus started the engine without responding. The shelter was in one of the worst areas of the city, a place for the truly desperate. For a moment, he pictured Rebecca there, surrounded by strangers, her life reduced to a cot and a shared bathroom. The woman who had once hosted dinner parties for judges and politicians now standing in line for a meal. He drove home to his new high-rise apartment, the city lights spreading out below him like stars. As night fell, Marcus stood at the window with a glass of scotch, watching the urban landscape transform. The man Rebecca had married, trusting, forgiving, somewhat naive, was gone, replaced by someone harder and colder. He'd destroyed her completely, just as she destroyed him. An eye for an eye, a life for a life. Yet, as Marcus raised his glass in a mock toast to his victory, the emptiness inside him seemed to expand. He had won. Rebecca was ruined. Connor was imprisoned. But the hollow space where his heart had been remained unfilled. Tomorrow he would return to court, to his cases, to rebuilding his life without her. But tonight, alone in his fortress of glass and steel, Marcus Reed faced the truth he had avoided for weeks. Revenge had cost him the last shreds of the man he used to be. The city lights blurred as unexpected tears filled his eyes. He brushed them away angrily, draining his scotch in a single swallow. Weakness was a luxury he could no longer afford. Marcus picked up his phone and deleted Rebecca's message without reading it again. Then, after a moment's hesitation, he dialed a number he'd called at least a dozen times in the past 2 weeks. Western Shelter, the tired voice answered. You have a resident named Rebecca Reed, Marcus said, his voice carefully controlled. Tell her she has a hotel room paid for at the Mayfair downtown. 1 month after that, she's on her own. He hung up before the shelter worker could respond. It wasn't forgiveness. He would never forgive what Rebecca had done. But perhaps it was acknowledgement that some small part of the man he used to be still existed after all. Tomorrow, Marcus would continue building his new life from the ashes of betrayal. But tonight, he allowed himself one small act of mercy. Not for Rebecca's sake, but for his own. The city spread out before him, indifferent to human dramas of love and betrayal. Marcus turned away from the window, away from the past, and faced the empty apartment that was now his future. Winning had never felt so much like losing. 6 months later, Marcus stood in the courthouse corridor having just won a high-profile case. Reporters crowded around him, microphones thrust forward. Mr. Reed, your client was facing 20 years. How did you manage and acquit it? Marcus gave them his practiced media smile. The evidence simply didn't support the prosecution's theory. The jury saw that. As the press conference wound down, Marcus caught sight of a familiar figure at the far end of the hallway. Rebecca stood watching him, looking both better and worse than the last time he'd seen her. She'd gained back some of the weight she'd lost. Her clothes were neat, if inexpensive, but there was a hardness in her eyes that hadn't been there before. As the reporters dispersed, she approached cautiously. "Hello, Marcus." "Rebecca." His voice betrayed nothing. "What are you doing here?" "I had to return some paperwork to the DA's office about Connor's case." She hesitated. "I saw on the docket that you were here today." An awkward silence stretched between them. 10 years of marriage reduced to uncomfortable small talk in a public hallway. "You look well," she finally said. "I heard you made a partner last month," Marcus confirmed, checking his watch. "I have a meeting." "I just wanted to say thank you," Rebecca blurted. "For the hotel room. It gave me time to find a job and a place to stay." Marcus's expression remained neutral. It was a one-time gesture. "Don't read anything into it, I know." Rebecca's smile was sad. "I'm working as a receptionist at Baxter Medical now, starting over. I'm in therapy too." "Good for you," Marcus said, making to move past her. "He's dead," Rebecca said abruptly. "Connor. He was killed in prison 3 weeks ago." Marcus stopped, his face carefully blank. "I heard. They're saying another inmate stabbed him in the shower. Someone with connections to you." Rebecca searched his face. "Is that true?" "I have many clients in the system," Marcus replied evenly. "I can't control what they do." Rebecca studied him, something like fear flickering in her eyes. "You've changed, Marcus. I barely recognize you anymore." "Betrayal changes people," he said simply. "You destroyed the man I was." "I know," she whispered. "And I'll regret that until the day I die." She hesitated, then reached into her purse, pulling out an envelope. "This came for you to our old address. I've been carrying it, hoping I might see you." Marcus took the envelope cautiously. Inside was a check, a settlement from Elite Fitness to him personally for emotional damages related to Connor's actions. The amount was substantial, 6 figures. "They're settling with all the affected spouses," Rebecca explained. "Part of their damage control." Marcus studied the check, then looked at Rebecca. "Keep it," he said finally, holding it out to her. She blinked in surprise. "What?" "Take it," he repeated. "Consider it the last page of our story." Rebecca took the check with trembling fingers. "I don't understand." "Neither do I," Marcus admitted. "Maybe I'm tired of living on hate and revenge. Maybe I just want to be done with all of this." "Is that forgiveness?" Hope flickered in Rebecca's eyes. "No," Marcus said firmly. "I'll never forgive what you did, but I'm choosing to let go of the anger. It's eating me alive." Rebecca nodded, tears welling in her eyes. "I understand." She carefully tucked the check away. "Thank you." Marcus checked his watch again. "I have to go." As he turned to leave, Rebecca called after him. "I heard you're seeing someone. The DA mentioned it. Catherine Winters." Marcus paused, then nodded slightly. "We've been dating for a few weeks." "I hope she makes you happy," Rebecca said softly. "You deserve that." Without responding, Marcus continued down the hallway, his footsteps echoing on the marble floor. He didn't look back, didn't see Rebecca watching him go, didn't witness her brushing away tears before squaring her shoulders and walking in the opposite direction. Outside, the spring air was fresh and clean after a morning rain. Marcus loosened his tie slightly, feeling as if a weight had shifted inside him. Not disappeared. He would always carry the scars of Rebecca's betrayal, but perhaps lessened enough to allow him to breathe again. His phone buzzed. Catherine texting to confirm their dinner plans. Marcus smiled slightly as he typed his response. The future stretched before him, uncertain, but no longer defined solely by the past. As Marcus slid into his car, he caught a glimpse of Rebecca exiting the courthouse, walking with determined steps toward whatever new life she was building from the wreckage of her mistakes. For the first time since that late-night phone call had shattered his world, Marcus felt something other than rage when he looked at her. Not forgiveness, certainly not love, but perhaps something like peace. He started the engine and pulled away from the curb, leaving the courthouse and all it represented behind him. The road ahead was his alone now, no longer shadowed by revenge or defined by betrayal. It was time to start living again.